Ladies and gentlemen, today's keynote session, well, it focuses on a platform that has become an undeniable force in the Indian social media landscape. And I'm talking about Snapchat. For many of us, capturing those fleeting moments, sharing them with your very close friends is always a daily ritual. And for a whole new generation, Snapchat is the go-to app for this kind of authentic and ephemeral connection that people are looking for. So to unpack the reasons behind Snapchat's success in India, we have the perfect person that is going to come and join us right now and guide us. All right, so folks, please join me in welcoming onto our stage Pulkit Trivedi, the Managing Director of India for Snap Inc.
I think it's safe to assume that 90% of the audience in this room doesn't use Snapchat. That also is a very powerful insight that most of the audience sitting here is not Gen Z. But the good news is that our platform actually represents young India. As many of you know, the global population mix comprises almost a third of people who are Gen Z. And India is no different. Our median age in India is about 28 years. A third of our population also is actually Gen Z. And by 2030, the global population mix will represent almost half of Gen Z consumers around the world. And what this means is that this audience or these consumers, or what we call the category of human beings, actually are digital warriors who consume technology in a very different way. They are people who really believe in true authenticity. They believe in building real connections. They really don't feel the pressure of being judged. They express themselves freely. They are not fearful of taking risks. And therefore, when you put this in the context of how we built our product and why they use our app, it brings us to a very fascinating thing that across the globe, across 25 countries, 75% of our user base actually is 13 to 24-year-olds. And I'm going to talk a little bit more on how and what this user base does on our app, and more specifically in the India context. I think Snapchat is a vehicle for visual communication. It's a form of how we interact with people in our daily lives. It's like, if you think about the ethos on how Snapchat was really designed, on how we build the product, we really thought about facets of how we interact with human beings in our daily life. We talk, we like to express ourselves in a very authentic way. We like to build real connections. We don't want to be judged. And therefore, when you think about how we rendered all of this into our product or onto our platform, Snapchat fundamentally enhances human relationships. In a world which is why, when we go and talk to our users, we constantly hear the Snapchatters feel really happy and joyful about using our platform. And the reason is that we open the app onto the camera. We don't open the app to an endless passive feed where you're scrolling content. So we put the user front and center. And which is why 97% of our users told us that we associate happiness, joy, creativity, and fun with our app. And that's a very profound insight. If you think about really what's happening around the world, how technology in so many ways is enhancing human life, but also the quintessential argument about how social media is kind of changing lives, or the ill effects of social media that are actually impacting young adults, young folks around the world. It's very refreshing to see a platform that really brings out the fun, the joy, the creativity in these young people. As I said, I mean, if you really download our app, I'll really encourage you to download our app. You'll see that our app actually opens to the camera. And the fascinating part about our camera is that it's the most used camera around the world. People take 6 billion snaps on a single day to take their expression to the forefront on how they really interact with friends and families. And the power of this visual messaging has driven our growth to 800 million plus users who use our app globally, and over 200 million users who use our app in India. And while Snapchat has come to the platform for connections with friends and family, they come here for a variety of other reasons. So when you think of our app, it opens to the camera, you connect with friends and family with messaging, you also consume content, and content is core to Snapchat experience, and we have two massively popular content destinations, the Spotlight and the Stories, that allow a diverse set of creators, media brands, and audiences to come and really consume content in a very privacy-safe way. Our content provides value to the community, to hundreds of millions of Snapchatters who come to the app daily. They are able to express themselves in a very fearless way, one that doesn't feel judged, one that allows them to really interact in a more visual fashion, consume branded content in a more visual fashion, and also allows creators, on the other hand, to come and express themselves in a way that is very genuine. Now, when you switch over to what the power of this audience means, it is incredibly profound. As we speak, as I said, a third of Gen Z population, their overall purchasing power is roughly about $4 trillion. By 2030, this is supposed to quadruple to $30+ trillion. What this means is that they are the fastest growing population who have a fast growing purchasing power, and therefore that makes them the powerhouse of consumer trends. They are breaking the marketing funnel. They are influencing shopping decisions in a way for themselves and for their families that has never been seen before. And therefore, what this means is that this audience will have significant credence to a lot of business and brands sitting out here. I wanted to share this very interesting insight about our user base. So what you look here is, as I said, almost half of our audience comes to the platform daily, spending significant amount of time, 40+ time, app open. What's incredible is that we provide access to an audience that is not on other platforms. So Snapchatters who come to the platform daily, almost 15% do not use Instagram. 25% do not use YouTube on a daily basis. 55% do not use Facebook on a daily basis. So we also attract users who are not on other platforms, and therefore we are a vehicle where brands can get access to exclusive, unique audiences in a way that the overall consumption of content and stuff is happening visually. I think we have been long known as a big force of a tech platform that has driven innovation. We are the ones who brought vertical videos as a concept to this world. We brought the concept of stories to the world. We brought this concept of disappearing messages to the world. And what this means is that when you combine all of this innovation that comes together and you combine the power of this audience, what this means is that there is a very powerful way on how you really can help build brand messaging on our app. This also translates to the fact that I talked about the fact that the overall association or affinity with joyfulness, with creativity, with happiness is very strong on our app. And this lends itself very well on how advertising matrices or advertising ROI is delivered on the app. And what this scene here is that not only can you really make your brand experience very interactive, like the way you see how Myntra recently took their catalog, rendered it on the camera, where in real time, you could actually skim through their, to their catalog and actually try on shoes. You see how Ajio in India actually made their overall shopping experience really interactive and engaging and consuming with the audience, which saw significant lift in engagement. When you combine the power of this audience and you combine the power of how you can basically make brand experiences really enriching, very consuming, in a way that the shopping experience becomes very immersive, you see the ROI playing out really well. And we've seen in some of our studies where the overall brand preference has gone up by 9%, the purchase intent for some of these brands has gone up by 6%. And all of this receptivity is a function of how people use our app on a daily basis, which is in an environment which is really full of fun, happiness, and joyfulness. Not only this, I think we're investing a huge amount of effort in building or making our performance ad product really powerful. And we are combining 3 key areas of how we really see how we can change the shape of DR advertising in the years to come. One, we are investing in significant measurement tools that allow a lot of performance advertisers to measure engagement and purchase and lower funnel metrics of their audience in a very, very powerful way. While we are doing this, I think we take immense pride in how we've built our product. If you really use Snapchat, you will see the product ethos or the product architecture is very different. It's not like any other social platform. And there are 3 key distinct things that we do on our platform. 1, we delete by default. 2, we don't allow for likes or comments, which puts an inordinate amount of pressure on consumers using our app and which forces them to look desperately perfect all the time. So we are taking away the fear of judgment from our app. 3, we have privacy and safety measures that allow a lot of features that allow young adults to not be exposed to friend finding and location sharing. So all privacy features on our app are actually set on default mode. It's not set on default. It's not on always on mode, where we are trying to give power to our users, to our consumers, and not having them to deliberately go and change the settings on the app to make their location sharing off, to not give access to the camera or the mic on the app. The other fascinating thing about our app is how we've kind of brought technology render itself to the world around you and make the experience playful. You think about this, AR is a very complex tech. And when you use Snap, we brought the very complex tech and made it very simple on how it gets renders on our camera. So the fascinating lenses that we have localized for Indian consumers that they are able to use and connect with friends and family. The lenses that we create during culture moments around Diwali, Pongal, regional festivals, Holi, around cricketing events, and how they are able to engage and really, consume the experience out of those lenses and share it with other friends and family members. Also taking the sheer power of lens creation to brands who can now really amplify their overall engagement by using some of our lenses. They can make a really boring GIF come alive. They can really take a 30-second video and make it AR ready that is actually delivered on the camera. So there are many experiences that we are trying to build where the unification of how consumers use our app and how brands want to really go and engage with consumers is happening out of the AR tech on our app. As I end my presentation, I think, there's a lot of chatter about AI being the next buzzword in India and globally on how it will change industries, it will change advertising experiences. At Snapchat, we do believe that it's not just AI, it's the combination of AR and AI which will really transform how brands, marketeers, businesses are going to speak to their audiences. And therefore, we see incredible opportunity in India over the next few years as we grow our community, as we continue to build local experiences, and as we continue to make tech more locally relevant for our users in India. Thank you, and you have a great day for the rest of the Goa Fest.